Hi. I took a week off for mental health reasons. Yeah, I just, first of all, the boss is sick again. And the boss means more to me than most of you probably realize. And I won't talk too much about it because it's going to put me in a state. But yeah, I know our time left is short, and that's a very difficult thing to handle for me. The other thing is, if you don't know, I care for a parent with dementia, and that in and of itself is pretty difficult, but when you don't have any support, that just makes things even much more difficult. I help the other parent take care of the parent with his dementia. It's tough to lose a parent to dementia. It's tough to see another parent suffer, having to watch their life partner go through this. And it's tough when you just don't have any support from any place else. Yeah, I've just been run ragged the last couple weeks, and it's been hard. But I know no one cares about my mental health issues, so we will move on. But just, what's happening this week and the top of the month, I'm going to blend these two together because, yeah, I just don't have it in me to make the cover art and everything for two videos. So we're going to do a combo here. And so it's time for what's going on at the top of the month for March and what's happening this week. If you're wondering what I'm drinking, by the way, this, I've suddenly started a love affair with the Fanta products. This is the strawberry one. I've enhanced it just a wee bit. Doug's Big B serve Fanta? No. But I love the color, so I wanted a see-through glass. So now, of course, I'm going to give you my usual disclaimer, that is that I am not omnipotent, and I try to read a lot and I write down interesting things that are happening. If there's something interesting happening in your neck of the woods that you're excited about but I'm not covering, please don't get angry with me. Remember, we're trying to be nice for 2024. It's not really coming at me right now, but yeah, I'm not doing it on purpose. Just shoot me a note, either comment below or I'll give you a whole bunch of other options, and I will check it out, put it on my list. If it's still happening next week, I'll be happy to talk about it. If not, then it'll be on the list for next year. But remember, I'm not just trying to be exclusionary. I just don't know everything in the world that's happening. I know that's a shocker because you would think I would know everything, right? Before we jump into everything, if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Gretchen, the Tipsy Travel Gal. I'm a travel agent and a licensed esthetician, and it is my goal to eat, drink, and spa my way around the world. I'd love to bring you with me and, of course, show you some interesting things to see, some fun things to do, and of course, delicious things to eat and drink. My overall hope is that it's going to inspire you to travel, whether that be international or domestic. So if this sounds like that's something interesting to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the little bell right down below. I would truly appreciate it. But let's move into what's going on this month. Actually, you know what? It's a relatively calm month. We have several large-scale events going on, like St. Patrick's Day and Easter, and oh, the boss just snorkeled. Hold on. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I had to run the boss up and down the stairs. Anyway, there is a lot going on this month. Let's just jump right into it. Still continuing from last month, of course, Jewellumination is actually nearing its end. Although right now they've peppered in some Japanese cherry blossom lights into this huge display. But yes, it is getting ready to end next month, but it is still charging all the way through March. It's a good time to be a flamingo in Laguna, Colorada in Bolivia because it is flamingo breeding season. And of course, the ripe market in Dubai is still going on every weekend through March, although that's coming to an end in April as well. So if you're in those necks of the woods, you definitely want to get out to those things because they're going to be ending very soon after March ends. Now, what is ending this month is a lot of the winter activities and festivals. You want to see Hallstatt in the winter in Austria, you definitely need to get over there. Quebec City in Canada has the Hotel de Glace and the Toboggan run at the Chateau Frontenac. And of course, all those things are weather dependent. And as I'm sure all of you have noticed, we're having a ridiculously warm winter. So if they make it through the end of March, I'd even be shocked. But you know, you want to get to those sooner than later. And of course, the season for seeing the Aurora Borealis is coming to an end as well. If you want to take a trip on the Alaska Railroad Aurora train from Anchorage to Fairbanks, Alaska, now is the time to do it. Now remember, the Monarch butterflies left Pismo Beach and we're heading back up to Canada to do their summer thing. And now it's time for them to leave the Monarch Reserve butterfly for migration in Mexico as well. They're making their way back up to the East Coast. And of course, whale watching season is also coming to the end this month. You are near Samana Bay in the Dominican Republic. Now's the time to take a peep at those whales. All the calves should have been birthed, and pretty soon they're going to be heading back up north. So a lot of things are winding down from the winter months right now. Now it's time to get to what's new starting in March. Every March, 55 acres in northern San Diego County in a little town called Carlsbad comes alive with color for 14 weeks. The giant Tecolote ranunculus is in full bloom and it's just rows and rows and rows of these bright flowers in a lovely place called the Flower Fields. Visiting this location has been compared to walking into a Monet painting. There are lots of things to do there. Obviously, you are there to see the flowers. And of course, pictures are welcome. There are trails to take you through the flower beds. But please, do not trample the flowers. You see this all the time with like influencers and stuff getting into the flowers. Trust me, if you go there, the pictures look like you are standing in the flowers. Do not trample them. Kids are welcome. There is a sweet pea maze as well as wagon rides throughout the flower farm. There is a playground area and there's this little mining company where they have these sand and water pits where you can shake out your polished gems. Looks like a lot of fun. I've always wanted to do that. I know they put the gems in there, but still, I kind of want to do it. There are also daily events, things like yoga and painting classes. So check their website. As you know, I include as many websites as I possibly can in the description. Check the websites for daily events for things for you to go see. These flowers are in bloom for 14 weeks. They actually come in 2 waves. The first wave is already starting to bloom. The flower fields remain open all the way through Mother's Day. Now you have to purchase tickets online and in advance. The good news is you get to pick your time that you get to go. And when I looked, there were tons of tickets available. They are fairly reasonable tickets, a great way to spend the day. There are some restrictions to go into the flower fields. First of all, no pets are allowed, as well as no tobacco. And they use the term tobacco, so I'm assuming that both means chewing and smoking tobacco of all kinds. And no drones. And I know why they have no drones, because people probably fly the drones into the flowers, not only destroy the flowers, but then they have to go into the flower beds to get the drones, so no drones. Basically, if you can't get over to the Netherlands to see the tulips come in, the flower fields is going to make you a very, very happy. Now we're going to talk about some things that happened last week, but kind of went into this week, so we're going to move on to Montreal. The Montreal Luminaire started on February the 29th, happy leap year by the way, and runs all the way through March 10th, although the gastronomy part runs all the way through the 22nd of March. It is the Winter Light Festival, and actually Montreal Luminaire means Montreal in lights. This winter carnival focuses not only on the outdoor family activities of winter, it also includes the arts and gastronomy. The fine dining program itself includes 500 chefs, wine producers, and speakers. 600 artists are there right now with classical music, dance, theater, circus art, any type of artistic expression that you could possibly think of, this event has. Now, many things are free. The events themselves that are ticketed are very reasonable. Go to the website to see what events require tickets, and you can also purchase them online before you go. One thing that is interesting is the Nuit Blanche, which is the sleepless night, and that is when the party goes all night. So if you're trying to hold on to that last bit of winter, make sure you get up to Montreal this week because Montreal and Luminaire ends on the 10th. So we visit our neighbors to the north. Now let's visit our neighbors to the south. We're headed to Mexico. Now technically the Feria de la Pirotecnia is over today. But I want to put this one on your radar for next year because honestly, it sounds like a blast. The Mexican state of Tultepec is where 3/4 of Mexico's fireworks are produced. And every year they have a national pyrotechnic festival. This festival is open to all fireworks producers throughout Mexico. It used to be only for those in that state, but now it is open to all of them. It is so large, 100,000 people attend this event. This is your traditional festival. It's got amusement rides, it's got concerts, there's a lot of traditional dancing. There is plenty of food, especially focusing on Tepoltec food. But there are 3 main events along with all the other stuff I just said. First, there is the castillos. Now, the castillos are these huge structures that are built into the air like castles, and then they attach fireworks to them. Many of these components are movable, and then they light the fireworks afire, moving the actual structure around and in different directions. Then you have the Pamplonada. Now, this is something that was structured after the running of the bulls, but there's no bulls involved unless you're talking about bull structures. Some of them are relatively small, like one of the pictures that I showed here, but some of them are very large. And again, they attach fireworks to them and then they run them through the streets as a parade for 5 to 6 hours all the way to the main plaza. When I first started looking at pictures of this event, it was like, oh yeah, these are really kind of fun and cute. And then I noticed how elaborate they got the more I began to dig. So, you know, it looks like there's people surrounding them. So I'm guessing that the Pamplonada, people are actually running with these blazing structures, but yeah, I mean, probably still safer than actually running with the bulls. I could be wrong though. The final night is a very large contest where the producers create a performance where they have fireworks with music combined. So if you like to see stuff blow up, head down to Tepoltec, Mexico. Now we're going to come back to the good old US of A, although we're going far north. Let's head up to Anchorage, Alaska. The Iditarod set off on March the 2nd and is going to run for approximately 10 days. Now here's the background to the Iditarod if you don't know about it. In 1925, the city of Nome was hit with a diphtheria outbreak and children were getting sick left and right. The kids weren't going to make it. And while they were managing their symptoms pretty well, they knew their only hope for survival was to take the diphtheria serum. Unfortunately, they didn't have any, and the only one who had it was Anchorage. They had to get it to Nome. So Anchorage said, we're going to get this to you guys. And it was a 1,049-mile trek. So, you know, the city of Nome already had a lot of things going against this trek. First of all, Nome's harbor was already completely iced over because it was the dead of winter. And airplanes can't fly into sub-zero temperatures. But then a blizzard moved in. Temperatures got down to 60 below. The winds were taking away almost all visibility. But then a brave group of mushers banded together, decided to do the 1,049-mile trek through the Alaska wilderness in a blizzard on dog sled. They couldn't run the dogs as hard as they normally would have because they needed to control the dogs' breathing because their lungs would freeze. Almost all the mushers ended up with frostbite. And there were some legs of this trek that were so dangerous, they had to run their sleds across ice, and the ice could break off and launch them out to sea, and one of them barely made it across. However, they got the serum to Nome. After a couple days, the sickness was starting to lift and the quarantine was lifted. In the 1960s, people started getting together to preserve this route, and they turned it into a race. and in 1973 was the first Iditarod. The race is a series of legs going from checkpoint to checkpoint, just like the mushers who saved the city of Nome. Now it kicks off in Anchorage on the 2nd. That's already done. There are a lot of trips that will take you along with the mushers and the dogs. So let me tell you something. This was probably the best part of my week researching this because I could look at the faces of these dogs all day. Boy, I didn't even realize we're not leaving North America this week. We're going to head back to Canada in Newfoundland. On the 8th and 9th, the Midwinter Bivver starts in Grand Falls, Newfoundland. And that takes place in the Exploits Valley. What a cool name for a place. And what the Midwest Bivver is the premier snowmobiling and culinary festival in Canada. All food is prepared by award-winning chefs. And on top of it, you can participate in a 100-kilometer snowmobile ride with a gourmet lunch at the end. If you're looking for something a little bit more fancy and you don't want to get in the snowmobiles, there's a 5-course Forager's Feast that takes place as well. This has live entertainment as well as a silent auction. Now, if you want to participate in the snowmobiling, you have to be 19 and older. You need to get a snowmobile trail pass ahead of time. You can do that online. You have to sign a waiver and wear a helmet to protect that noggin. And of course, you have to have a snowmobile. Now, there are plenty of places up there that will rent you the equipment. A lot of local places in the area are participating. So if you go on the Midwinter Bivver website, they will direct you to places that you can rent the snowmobiles from. Now, this is a ticketed event. If you want to participate in everything for the weekend, it's $150. But the other things, the ride is actually minimal. It's only $30, and then the feast is $75. There are some other little odd events that are going on. They are ticketed as well. You can look at those on the website and see if you want to participate in them. There's a lot of quilting going on. The good news is if you are staying in town at any of the hotels and inns, the festival will help get you to and from the event. I would tell you, I went snowmobiling in the Arctic Circle. It was a blast. This event looks like a lot of fun, and on top of it, you get gourmet food. So if you're interested in something like that, head up to Newfoundland this weekend. All right, so I'm just going to kind of run through some of the other things we're going to talk about as the month progresses. Obviously, Ramadan is starting on March the 10th. We are going to discuss what an Iftar is. And we are rolling into cherry blossom season, of course, focusing on Japan. So we're going to talk about the city of Osaka and the Osaka Castle. Don't think I forgot about Easter. We're going to travel to Guatemala to see the gorgeous flower carpets of Antigua. Also happening later this month is Holi. And we're going to focus on, of course, the celebrations in India and this 2-day celebration that is one of the most important festivals in the Hindu religion. And finally, we're going to finish off the month heading down to Barbados for the Oystins Fish Festival. So, like I said, a lot of stuff going on, but not as much as like the holiday months. We're finally starting to dwindle down a little bit, thank goodness, because these were starting to become like super long. But again, if there's something you'd like me to know about that's going on this month, please give me a message below. You can just comment right there and I will look into it. If you don't want to comment below, you can always reach me on any of my social media accounts. I am Tipsy Travel Gal across all of the major ones. Also, if you go to my website, tipsytravelgal.com, you can look at the top. There is a contact me link. Go there and you can send me an email. If you like this video, please don't forget to like it. And if you are so inclined, subscribe to my channel. I would truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great week. And until next time, bye.